Hi everybody, I'm Mac, and I had a discussion with a friend last night, and we were talking about all this stuff about the Nazis and all the issues that are going on right now, and how it's really a hard time to be an American, and especially be a white American who does want to preserve their culture, but not at the expense of other people. Just because you won't like your white culture does not mean that you have a right to be against anybody else's culture. You know, I hate that. I hate that when people say that white pride is a bad thing. White pride is not a bad thing as long as you realize that everybody has the right to be proud and that we all have the right, and maybe even the right's not the word I'm looking for, but if you look at other people's cultures, you can find things that you really appreciate and you really like. So just because you're proud of being what you are doesn't give you an excuse to not like other people because of what they are. And I feel like, unfortunately, it's come down to a race thing where people are saying all black people are this way, all white people are this way, and that's not the case. And I want to make my point known that this white girl does not think that the stuff that's going on and all this stuff with the Nazis and people that are unaccepting of other races, it's not okay. And the majority of white people the majority of white people do not think it's okay. And I think somewhere along the line, some people have gotten this idea that all white people think this way, and it's not true. I feel bad for the things that happen there, and I feel bad for the Jews and people who feel that they're being portrayed badly or that people have something bad about them. And this whole thing about the white guy who is afraid to go out now because he was in, racial riots, and now, oh, he's afraid to go out. Well, you know what? You shouldn't behave in that way. You shouldn't behave in a way that makes you afraid to go out in public. I'm sorry. And I think it was a very unfortunate event that happened in Charlottesville. And I told this friend of mine that, in this day and age today, a lot of us cannot do, what's the word I'm looking for? We all don't know how to make our voice heard. And really what it is that the internet has become our means for getting our voice heard. And we all have a platform. Whether people choose to listen to me or not, it doesn't matter, and I really don't care. But if you come on this video, at least you're going to see that I've expressed how I feel. So yeah, take to Facebook, take to YouTube, take to whatever you use, Pinterest, Instagram, whatever you use. Tweet about it on Twitter. Let people know that you're white, but not all white people are snowflakes that feel this way. And now, I've heard about, well, I don't live that far away from, to be honest, the counter-protests that are taking place took place today in Boston. And I have a lot of respect for people who did that, because you're going out there when you know that people are going to be there that are not into what you're saying. And it was a dangerous thing that people went to, and as far as I've heard, things have turned out okay. I haven't really watched any major news as of this far. But I'm so glad that people have taken to protesting this in a positive light and showing off that, hey, not all white people are jerks. And you know, it's the same for any religion or any race. Don't decide that you don't like me because I'm fat, or because I'm white, or because I'm a girl, or this or that. You can't say all white people are this way, everybody's this way. You can't do that. If you find that you're starting your statement off by saying all Jewish people, no. You cannot, you can't do that. That is being racist. And it's even being racist if you decide to say all Asians are smart. Because when you take a whole group of people and limit them to what you think they should be, that's not right. And we live in a day and an age where if you see something going on that's not right, you need to speak up about it. I'm just a shy girl. People don't tend to listen to me. And you know, to be really quite honest, I tend to be the quiet one in the background that doesn't say anything, whatever. But that's the problem with our society today. Too many of us are that way. And it's not okay. We need to speak up. We need to say that we are not going to tolerate bad treatment of anybody based on their gender, based on their religion, their sexuality, their color, their status as citizenship. We're not going to put up with it. America is a melting pot. And that means that it's a place for all of us, where everyone can feel accepted and like they belong. And nobody can take that away. So as for those people that had to witness those horrible acts of the Nazi pigs, I'm sorry you had to see and hear that. But please know, not all of us white people are like that. And I do apologize on behalf of the people that really should know better. I have pride in my own ancestry. I am English, Irish, French, Canadian, Native American, and of course American. And I have the luxury, by being of European descent, that I can look back and I can say, I know where my people are from. But you look at black people, and you have to realize that amounts of black pride are okay because a lot of African Americans, due to slavery and being brought over on ships and not being able to trace their ancestry, are hanging on to that black pride because they really don't know what their culture is. And that's okay for them to hang on to that, but we have to understand there's a very, very big difference between pride in ourselves and pride in our people and knocking somebody else. And there's nothing else I can say. I already say I apologize on behalf of the white bigots that are not accepting people. Be they Nazis, be they the KKK, be they anybody. You know what? Even other people, blacks, Muslims, anybody who doesn't know enough to judge you by who you are, and instead of the color of your skin, who you want to sleep with, and other, orientations about you in your life, they're not worth the trouble. And we will fight it. And even quiet people like me are going to speak up. And we're going to say that we do not put up with this behavior. And I'm quite ashamed to say that our president, and I have a hard time calling him our president, only seems like he's throwing fire into this fuel by not coming out and saying this on behalf of white people, that we don't all feel this way. So please don't think that we do. On that note, I don't know what else to say. We live in trying times. We live in very trying times. And there is so much hate in this world that I can't understand why people don't know the simple fact to just be kind to other people. You don't like somebody, then leave them alone. Don't talk to them. Don't associate with them if you don't want to. But you don't need to say or do things against them. And you don't need to scare them or be bigoted. Don't associate with them if you don't like them. What is hard about that? I don't understand what is hard about that. While looking on the internet today, I found a quote by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And I think it's very relevant even to today. Violence as a way of achieving racial justice is both impractical and immoral. I am not unmindful of the fact that violence often brings about momentary results. Nations have frequently won their independence in battle, but in spite of temporary victories, violence never brings permanent change. So to these people who think that by being violent, showing their KKK symbols and their Nazi symbols and trying to fight with intimidation, we already figured out a long time ago that will be overcome. That will be overcome, and you are not going to win your battles in that way. The only answer to happiness on this whole entire earth is peace. And people need to be willing to learn that message of peace. Because until we get there, things like this are going to happen all the time. So you know what? It doesn't matter. You could be a nobody like me. But you need to stand up and say your piece. Make your video and say, I do not condone this violence. I do not condone hate. Because the more people who say that, the victims, and I hate to use the word victims, but the victims of these things are going to look at us and realize, hey, not everybody feels that way. I'm not fighting alone. That's what we need. That's what America needs, and that's what every country in this world needs, is people to stand up. My favorite quote is by a woman named Marianne Williamson, and although I have not read the book, it is still my favorite quote. And it has to do with a lot of things that right now are relevant. It is from Reflections on Principles of A Course in Miracles. This is the quote. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light and not our darkness that frightens us. And we ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God, and your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to manifest the glory of God that is within us. And it's not just in some of us. It's in everyone. And as we let other people have permission to let their light shine, and we let our own light shine, we are liberated from our fear. Our presence automatically liberates others. Now, I did screw that quote up a little bit, but the essence of it is there. Don't be small about this. This is the time when we need to speak up. We will not tolerate hate. We will not tolerate hate.